They are known to have some of the hardest math papers. But what about their chemistry? Is the chemistry paper going to be as hard as the math paper? Find out in today's episode of PPR! Alright, welcome back to another video. This is Yola from Vantage Tutor, the class above the rest. And for today's Prelim Paper review, it is a fan submission. And it is from 2024 Nan Chiau High School, Pure Chemistry Paper 2. Now before I go into the details, these are the questions that I feel are insightful and probably worth your time to try. And for students who like to download this paper, much thanks to the follower who shared it with us. You are invited to join my Telegram channel where I've uploaded a short summary together with a download link on my blog. Have a go at it, let me know how you did. And in case you don't know by now, I have started a tuition center and it's located near Boon Keng. If you're interested to sign up for regular classes or open classes, link is in the bio. I'll see you there. I know most people know Nan Chiau High School for their A Math and E Math papers, but very few people actually mention their chemistry or physics paper. Would their chemistry paper be as their A Math counterparts? Honestly, I don't think so. Why? Find out via my 3 matrices. Number 1, relevance. Number 2, insightfulness. Number 3, difficulty. Before I give an overall score and recommend to you the type of students who should try this paper, and if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, what would be a fair expectation of her from me in order for her to score an A in her actual O-levels? Firstly, relevance. Upon first impression, everything seems in place. Nothing too special, there's an anchor question that I do like, and there is enough application. And funny enough, their application question is rather similar to what you expect, where they tell you a story about this molecule and then ask you about the molecule without really relating to the context. And I see that quite often in this paper. That in itself can be a good thing because it doesn't stretch the question too far and it just shares with you some knowledge. Apart from that, the allocation of topics, the allocation of marks for individual topics seem rather fair. You have your typical organic chemistry in terms of functional group and monomers. But then one thing does stand out. The paper seems to have a larger focus on rate of reaction. I'm not exactly sure why, but the overall vibe of the paper just feels very relevant to me. And hence the relevance will be given a more than solid 8.5 out of 10. Next, insightfulness. There's an anchor question that I really enjoy is because they did not simply take it from the A level and put it down here, but there are elements of that which I'll speak about later. They took something from environmental chemistry, which I particularly enjoy because if you don't know by now, generally in your O level pure chemistry or even your A level chemistry, there is quite a significant emphasis and focus on environmental chemistry. And this to me is the most insightful part of any paper is because a lot of students seem to think that environmental chemistry is something that is at the side, not the most important. Even if it comes out a memorized answer or something simple that I can just throw at it, I'll probably get the marks. But if you have learned environmental chemistry at the same depth that I have learned, you realize that actually environmental chemistry has a lot to ask, has a lot to offer, and it can be quite interesting to pose questions to students. And we see that every year, significant number of students tend to struggle with environmental chemistry, maybe precisely because of the reasons I've spoken before. And maybe that's a sign that you should look at this question a bit more carefully than usual. But then again, this anchor question is not unique. I believe I've seen it elsewhere before, but that doesn't take anything away from the question. I think it's a great question. There is some modification here and there. You're going to learn from it. And beyond that, there are questions where they've taken some elements from the A level, specifically the electrolysis question, but then they did not just give you formulas and ask you to make something out of it, but rather they really test you on data analysis, which is giving you a table of information and asking you to infer the answer from establishing relationships, from establishing proportion, and I think that's a great question in itself. All in all, very solid in terms of insights that it offers, but it doesn't blow my mind. But I think this is enough, and hence the insightfulness of this paper will be given a rather solid 7 out of 10. Next, difficulty. I don't know about Nan Chiau's reputation in terms of chemistry, but we all know about their math. Fortunately, their chemistry paper is nowhere near as unfair, nowhere near as challenging as their A Math and E Math counterparts. Most of the questions here does seem fair. Most of the questions here will feel familiar to you. Even though there's application, they just tell you some background about it, but their focus of the question is on the molecule itself and on the conceptual knowledge of the molecule itself. Yes, there are storytelling. Yes, there's some form of application in there. For most of you, you'll see right through it quite easily, except for maybe the environmental chemistry question, which is again what makes it a great question. Generally though, it does seem like the paper is a bit long and maybe time management could be a problem for some of you, but if you have done your due diligence, I think you should be able to complete this paper at least on time, and hence the difficulty of this paper is only slightly above average. You will be given a score of 6 out of that. Overall, I like this paper. I see elements in there that I really do want in a Prelim paper, even though the questions may not be the most original or unique. Every time I see the latest edition of any school's Prelim paper, I'm always looking for something innovative in terms of the application question, anchor question, database question, and this paper did offer some creative questions, but the major part of it, the anchor question, pretty sure I've seen it somewhere. But again, this is not to fault the paper, I just feel that it's a pity to me that I couldn't find something quite new. But ultimately, most of the questions here are going to be very useful for you, especially if you have done your due diligence and you want to try a rather fair paper. And hence, the overall score of this paper will be given a rather solid 7.5 out of that. And if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, a fair expectation of him would be 75% in order for her to score an A in her actual O-levels. And finally, who would I recommend this paper to? I recommend this paper to students who are average and above. You know your chemistry is at a very average level. Maybe you just focus on doing 10-year series, maybe you just focus on reading the notes, and you have not done enough Prelim papers, you have not been challenged. This is a good stepping stone for you to challenge yourself. Not because the questions are very difficult, but rather it's just one step ahead of an average Prelim paper. And honestly, as much as the questions could be insightful, I don't think you should just extract questions out individually to try. I think this paper happens to be one of the paper that I'll keep again towards the end when my O-level is approaching. One of the more relevant papers, one of the more fair papers that I could see being used as an exam simulation when you feel that you are confident to take on the O-levels even though the date is not here yet. And hence, if you are an average student for chemistry and you want to challenge yourself a bit further to push yourself to become slightly above average and you want that stepping stone of a Prelim paper, this paper is perfect for you. Alright, so we have come to the end of this Prelim paper review of 2024 Nan Chiau High School Pure Chemistry Paper 2. Now if you like what I'm doing, follow me on TikTok, like my video, comment and share it with your friends. I'm sure this will help them because ultimately, I'm on my way to 10,000 followers. And for students who like to download this paper, much thanks to the students who have shared this with me, you are invited to join my Telegram channel where I've uploaded a short summary along with a download link on my blog. Have a go at it, let me know how you did. And for students who like to join me and sign up for regular classes, whether it's for JC1, JC2, Upper Sec, I have opened a new tuition center at Boon King and sign-ups are open. Link in the bio. I'll see you there. Nothing else? This is your love from Vantage Tutor, a class above the rest. Take care.